Welcome to the Kent Lapp Podcast.
Diet. Do you mind sharing your height and weight, by the way?
I am 5'9", and I've actually lost some weight, so I'm down to about 177.
177.
Yeah.
So I was up to 177 just 3 weeks ago. And I was back in L5 Fitness for like 2 weeks because I had a bad lower back. And that healed. And last Tuesday, I think I have a pulled or torn intercostal muscle. It's like the muscles that hold your rib cage together. And this thing is tender, man. And it's not like it feels as bad today as it did a week and a day ago. It was sore the day before we did the split jerks. We did split jerks last Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I went somewhat heavy on the split jerks, and I think that really did it. And now I'm down to like 173. So I would like to, when I don't work out, I get soft and I don't feel good and I get a little gut and things like that, but I don't put on weight. Actually, I put on weight when I start working out at CrossFit. I'd kind of like to get to like 180, 185 if possible.
I'm the exact same way. So, it's funny you say L5 because I had hurt my back coming. It was that gap that we had there when we were shut down with COVID for, 3 months there. Really didn't do a lot. And you got to think that I had been working out at a minimum 5 days a week for the previous 6 years. So now I've got this 3-month span of trying to go jogging and like,
right. What is that?
So I'm like, oh man, it's just, so of course, but the other thing, it was not only the working out. I took for granted too, the 30 minutes I get to the gym beforehand and do all my stretching and mobility things. So I had lost a tremendous amount of mobility. I was so focused on the strength that I lost and the cardio, the cardiovascular fitness that I was, down on. But I think the key there was that I also wasn't stretching. And so to try and pick it back up with that focus on strength and get back my muscle mass, the form had gone, especially being an older athlete. I don't have the natural dexterity I did 10 years ago. So there was some, and that's what, of course, caused my back injury was the lack of dexterity and lack of mobility and having some less than optimal form.
Mm-hmm.
And then that time period of coming back, I'm like you. I don't gain weight. I lose weight. I lose weight pretty dramatically. And on my frame, 10 pounds is a lot, and that's what I dropped.
You dropped 10 pounds?
10 pounds, yeah.
During your back injury?
Yeah.
That is a lot.
I would say in February, I was around 185.
Okay.
Felt great. My body fat percentage was low, around 10 or 11, which is optimal for me. That's where I want to be. And so, and let me back. I know that that's a little high for most people. Most people want to get super shredded, but for me, I think my best overall, how I feel, is around that 10 to 11.
Okay.
And was really feeling great. It felt like I was performing the best I'd ever had been. And then when all that happened, and I just saw a dramatic decrease in weight, muscle mass, strength. My strength's still down, and we've been back in the gym now for months.
Yeah.
It just takes such a long time to get that back.
So you feel like your strength is still down from having missed, and I remember your back injury was pretty serious. I mean, it looked pretty bad for some period of time. You feel like you still not gained that strength back, which it'd be both from the injury and from COVID having shut the gym down.
Sure.
Correct. For both.
Yeah, it was kind of it was the sort of the perfect storm. Another factor that plays into that is I go to a doctor pretty frequently. I go every 10 weeks and get my blood checked, and I check my levels. And the doctor that I use, he specializes in trying to optimize male performance, overall male performance. And, I went through a phase where I had really low testosterone, so we tweaked a couple other little things like vitamin D and just hormone levels. So I've been really conscious of trying to make sure that I'm at my peak performance. But I got off of that because my wife and I are trying to to start a family.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just totally removed from that, trying to remove everything, get back to as natural as possible.
Okay.
So you compound that coupled with COVID, coupled with the back
Gotcha.
injuries. It's just like the perfect storm. So
Yes.
now I'm trying to build back.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you feel like if you're strong and optimal that you want to be about 185 pounds?
Yeah, that's my target.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been 185 pounds, oh man, much at all. I'm not actually sure if I've ever kind of I feel like I broke 180, 182 back when I was like late teens. I was just pounding. My younger brother and I got a book about like bodybuilding, and I wouldn't want to do that now because I don't want to trade what you get with CrossFit just to have like a big bicep or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would eat like a dozen eggs right before I go to bed and just pounding the protein. And I think I got up above 180. I would like to be 180 to 185, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can get there if I have the strength. But so you've been, well, let me ask you about your diet. What is your diet?
I'm not as intentional. I don't have a really honed in structure. Like I'm not counting my macros to the nth degree like most people are. I'm not saying that I won't ever get to that point, but I'm just really conscious. My focus is on eating clean, real foods and try and put an emphasis, especially here in the last month, because I'm trying to put weight back on healthy fats. It's really my target.
Such as?
I've eaten more avocados in the last month. I mean, I'm really starting to get burnt out on it, but
Yeah.
I eat. So in the morning, my morning coffee, I'll put in a tablespoon of butter. I put in collagen protein. So I try and get some healthy fats right out of the gate there. Now that I am in this aggressive trying to put weight back on, I will eat eggs, bacon, things like that every other day.
Okay.
So like yesterday I ate, today I didn't. Tomorrow I will go back and eat some more. And I'm just tweaking my morning diet intake, just seeing how my weight's going, seeing if it's progressing in the right direction. For lunch, again, just trying to find. For so long there, pre-COVID, I would just go to the salad bar at Sprouts every single day. I did that.
Okay. Yeah.
Ever since they opened, I was there every day, and I'm just getting salad, tuna, chicken, just loading it up, cheese, trying to get in as many greens as possible. So I eat a massive salad. And dinner, we do a couple of the delivery services like HelloFresh, and we had Blue Apron for a while. So it's pretty clean. We craft it to make sure that it's less carbohydrate driven, more clean. So really, I don't have a good, I do track on a keto diet app, I'm not keto, but I use it because I love the app. I think it's a great tracker.
Okay.
So I will enter in and just check sporadically to make sure that my macros are reasonable.
Yep.
But I eat pretty consistently the same thing every day.
Okay.
The term my buddy used, he got on a keto diet and has lost 70 pounds in the last
Whoa.
year. Yeah. He said that his big mental shift was that he went from living to eat to just eating to live. And I think that's really the approach I have, is I don't eat for pleasure as much as I do really just sustenance.
Yeah, same. I do not like eating during the workday. And so for lunch, for example, I don't eat breakfast and I don't eat lunch. I have a protein shake after I work out, and then I eat from like 5 to 10 p.m. every day. But I'm on the carnivore diet right now, and that gives me the energy through the next day. I'm really not hungry during the day. So I really like that. But back when, I was eating breakfast and lunch and all these things, and you're at work and you're busy, like the last thing I want to do is go to lunch or sit down and eat lunch. Like I just wanted a pill just because like I like to just eat because I kind of had to for sustenance, Although having said that, I still like occasionally, going to a really nice restaurant or making a really great steak and then just like enjoying that to the full,
Absolutely.
So it's kind of both ways on that. If it's just an everyday thing, let's just get me what I need to be healthy and keep going. But occasionally, let's really enjoy the food,
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Yeah. On the off, so right now you're saying every other day morning you'll eat eggs, but on the off, like this morning, did you just not have breakfast?
So I sort of fall in the same boat that you do. Is I'm not super hungry in the mornings
Okay.
or during the day. I think that's what made me so great pre-COVID, when I was at my optimal weight of 185. Did a tremendous amount of intermittent fasting because I was a huge
Okay.
fan, because I thought it was easy for me, because I really didn't have an appetite through the hours of the morning until 1, 2 p.m. So I'm excited to get back to that because I felt great on that plan. But for me, I really think right now with trying to climb it back, I'm really just trying to take in as many calories as possible.
Okay.
But that is the ultimate goal, is to get back to intermittent fasting.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, that makes sense. And are you taking creatine or protein shakes or anything like? Are you supplementing with anything right now?
I've increased with this weight loss. I've just recently increased my protein shake intake. I've always taken collagen protein with coffee in the morning.
Okay.
But here lately, with the weight being down, that I've definitely taken in an afternoon shake, which is strangely tough for me because my body doesn't seem to it doesn't. I can tell that my body's really sensitive to taking that in at that time frame. I'm not a huge fan of how I feel after it.
Oh, interesting.
But I've just
Protein
been
shake in the afternoon?
Yeah, it's weird. I
interesting.
feel kind of bloated
Okay.
after it, and I've sort of tweaked it between almond milk and water and just doing different things. So I'm trying to find that balance there. But to answer your question, yes, I mean there's definitely been an increase in protein shakes. Creatine, I haven't done as much. I used to do it pretty religiously. And then it came up on one of my lab reports, like I said, getting tracked every 10 weeks. One of my lab reports, my doctor didn't like the fact that I was retaining so much water.
Okay.
Great for lifting and things like that, but he didn't like it for some health reasons, so I scaled the creatine back.
Okay.
But I don't really supplement beyond vitamins.
Okay. Yeah.
And I take a lot of vitamin D, but beyond that, I'm not doing any type of hardcore GNC supplementation thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Me neither. You mentioned preparing to start a family. That reminds me of, let's see, Lincoln's 10. He's our oldest. So this was, 10, 11 years ago. When my wife and I were getting ready to start our family, I was, I went hardcore, like obviously no soda, which I haven't drank soda in years and years. And I mean, I think that's an easy one that people should probably cut out in general, but no soda, no bourbon, no alcohol, no cigars, no hot baths, definitely no hot tubs. And we were in Hawaii at the time, and I was like, we were on vacation, and I was like doing all this stuff, trying to be like optimal, to start this family. And then we have 5 kids, and so by the time like the 4th and 5th kid came along, I remember with Jericho, he's our 3rd boy, he was the 4th kid, and we were about ready to like, start getting ready to like try for that 4th kid. And he came along like a month early, and I hadn't like cleaned up my act yet. And I was like, oh man, this kid's just going to be like, he's going to like have 6 fingers and all this. Yeah. And he's fine. He's totally fine. Yeah. But we cared a little bit less as like we had more kids. We were a little bit less particular. What I like about your height and weight and age is I feel like, unless your genetics are just much better than mine, which obviously that's certainly a possibility, I really don't have many excuses on why I can't start getting closer to your performance. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing you're saying with your diet that I can't do. You're not, there's nothing, you're going 5-6 days a week and working out. I can do that. And yet your performance is considerably better than mine. So is it maybe the 6 years of consistent work that you're putting in?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it just boils down to the duration that I've been doing CrossFit, just with the movements, it has a tremendous advantage. I mean, there's, we saw that with some of these younger 20-something-year-old kids coming in the gym who are just, built perfectly for CrossFit. They've got the natural endurance. They're beaming with natural testosterone.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that I still beat them at, and it circles back to the fact that I've been doing this for almost a decade.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing CrossFit before CrossFit was cool, that type of mentality. And it's really just fine-tuning, because it's not solely about how strong you are, how fit you are. There's this other side to how well your movements are, your perfecting your range of motion, perfecting the entry, even the thruster. It's not only perfecting it to where you've got that thing, the bar resting in a perfect position where you're not taxing your shoulders, bouncing, rebounding out of the bottom, but also is breathing through it. I'm still constantly working on it, but your breath work through the movement too all plays a role that I think can have a tremendous advantage over just raw, brute, natural talent.
Yes.
At the time that I've had.
For sure. The breathing thing is interesting because I have noticed occasionally Evans will remind us to breathe through a particular movement or something. And it's good word because some of those movements you do sort of forget to breathe through. But the breathing thing it's so critical because this is what I love about CrossFit is you have these constantly varied high intensity functional movements, and you'll go from, and I feel like Evan does a really good job at this, is mixing like the 3 movements we're going to do through the WOD. Those are good 3 movements to mix together. And if you don't breathe through, you're just gonna gas out so quickly. So the breathing thing is critical. Yeah. Do you think when it comes to some of these 20-somethings that you can still beat, is it the almost decade of CrossFit experience, or is it your mental toughness, or a little bit of both? Because man, there is that trigger in your mind that just wants to stop or slow down probably quite a bit earlier than you really would have to.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because we've hit on several times now the weight. Now I'm trying to get my weight and things back, but the one of the biggest things that probably the number one thing I'm trying to get back is that pain cave mentality. It's how much I'm willing to push and take. That for me is really down right now. We're getting to the point in these workouts where last year I didn't stop. I knew it was going to be really painful, but now my mentality is really like, I'm just going to let up. Right. I'm fighting that back. So it's a fight. That's probably the more difficult fight than it is to try and pack on my muscle mass and get my strength back. It's really in these WODs trying to push through because I know it's going to hurt. Like yesterday was a prime example. There's no reason why I should have stopped when I stopped 15 seconds early. I could have repped out 10 more.
Sure.
But it's like, why?
Yeah.
So there's that battle too. It's a mental struggle. And that, to me, I think that's one of the biggest reasons too, besides the competition element of CrossFit, but the mental battle that's there every day. You're going to war with yourself every day. And that's the way I choose to look at it. And it's a similar mentality that I take into the sauna, into the breath work, into my actual job and work too, is acknowledging that the struggle's there and how much of it are you willing to take on.
Yes,
fight.
Exactly. And that dynamic of competing with that mixture of competing with other people and competing with yourself at CrossFit too, there's something about that I really like too, because sometimes in some workouts or some days based on how I'm feeling, I'll straight up try to beat someone, and it's all about just competing with someone else. And then others, and most days, it's just trying to do your best and get a little, faster and stronger, and trying to like push a little harder than you think you might be able to. I just like that mixture. I think I have my wife starting next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's been doing yoga consistently for some time, and Lord willing, we're done having kids now, and that bridge has been crossed, and
Five's enough.
And we were having kids every 2 years, so it's like, when you're breastfeeding babies and things, like, it just kind of keeps, it just more or less keeps the fat off, is my understanding. Well, now that we're done having kids, like, she's gonna work a little harder to keep her body in kind of the position that she'd like it to be in. So, I was, we talked about CrossFit off and on for a while, and she's not like a natural. She's not like, it's not like she's like wanting to go to CrossFit because she doesn't have that competitive nature and those types of things. But I think it'd be a great fit. So we'll see how she likes it. Andrew, can you pull up Chad's Facebook post? I saw on your Facebook page you had a comment about, just go to Chad Stevens, the gym getting shut down. You had a good post on that.
Yeah, it's funny because I try and remove myself from any type of political, hot topic debates. I don't. Yeah, it's hard. But I try and just stay removed from it. But I think this moment was just the epitome for me of frustration because I'm removed from it, and I try and focus because it's really easy, especially right now, to get bogged down in the constant fighting. There's a new issue, something else to debate every single day. So I have to remove myself from it and think, it's like, how am I being affected in my day right now? What if I just turn the phone off and go through my day? I've got it. It's just so much more positive and a better experience.
Yes.
But this particular thing is just really where I was directly impacted in my day to day. It's like, don't mess with my church, don't mess with gym, and those were like the two places that I go outside of home and work. And for those things to just be up and removed.
Yes.
I was okay for a while, but then I realized that we can do it reasonably and enough information had come out about it.
Right.
And this particular day just seemed to be a day where I just had it. I'm like, we're being as safe as possible. We've got 800 square feet to ourselves. Nobody's around. We're spraying everything in the sun.
Yeah,
it's like we can do this safe. Just leave us alone. It's really like freedom.
For sure.
We can laugh now, but at the time I was literally I was ready to lose it. I was so frustrated.